In 1995, I was lucky enough to have an exhibition at the Fashion Institute in New York. And this is really where I started exhibiting all over the world, teaching, lecturing, and working with students. And the feature of this exhibition was to show that a traditional textile could be used to evolve a line of contemporary fabrics using traditional techniques, but restyled in a contemporary way. So this exhibition has actually, this was we taught at Pratt, well, it was at FIT, but we taught students from Pratt Visual and FIT. It was up for 3 months. We brought our weavers, we had weaving demonstrations. It was very exciting to see the students from Southeast Asia react and say, actually in tears, their culture on the walls of a museum in New York. It was very moving for us. It was also a departure for me as an artist, and where I could go using the traditional techniques, working, creating modern pieces. This exhibition and various ones have traveled around the country, and this is an installation where you can see the traditional fabrics that we had at the Craft and Folk Art in San Francisco in 2005. We have a few catalogs left from that exhibition, and we have them here at the museum today. So the traditional techniques and the traditional skirts were the foundation for much of my creative work. So all of these traditional pieces were in incorporation of these, of the ikkats, the brocades, all the techniques I talked about. This is a baby carrier, and there's an image of a monkey in the middle, and the monkey climbs to the various universes and protects your child. So this was actually a baby carrier used by one of the ethnic groups. So each of these textiles were used for very specific purposes. A daughter weaving a skirt for her, or a mother weaving a skirt for her daughter-in-law. This is a funeral piece. This would have been draped on a coffin. So this would have been a scarf or a headcloth that was used, which had special spiritual powers. This is a shaman's headcloth that would have been used by the shaman. And there'll be a wonderful book that's coming out by a professor of theology at Trinity College. And next year, she's been doing research on the religious aspect of all of these, and she's been compiling that, which it'll be published next year, on the amount of spiritualism that's woven into each of these pieces. And women were the creative spirit in these, of the Thai ethnic group and the other ethnic groups from Laos. So they didn't really have much of a material culture as we view it from the United States, but they did have this extreme, rich, and diverse textile culture, which told their stories. And here you can see a traditional piece, which is, again, it's an ikat and a brocade, and then a contemporary scarf that I have interpreted. Those are the 5 heads of the Naga, and the Naga is a serpent, which is a protector of your spirit. And I have some new scarves, which I just did, that are little ikats that are one border of that 5-headed dragon, which we have here today, which I just designed. So you can see this interplay between tradition, contemporary, modern, old. And I do a whole series of that depending on what the commission is for. We do a lot of private commission, as I mentioned, individuals, museums, etc. And this is the intertwining Naga, who is, again, it's a symbol you see throughout Lao culture, where the Naga has a lot of strength to protect you. And traditional societies have beliefs that we might think of as superstition, and I think I'm becoming more and more a traditional believer as life goes on, whatever you want to call it, karma, whatever it is. And this Naga is a major protector of the spirit. We do a whole series of modern stripes. This was an exhibition that I did, which was wonderful. I did in Phoenix, Arizona. And it was my work, which was put together next to the exhibition of a Navajo weaver. And the similarities and the differences that were striking were amazing. And we demonstrate, again, every exhibition I've done, we demonstrate the weaving, teach students who want to come and learn about how a textile gets woven, without getting too technical. I understand that people don't have the the concentration to really understand complex weaves. But it's something I've been doing with my daughter, and integrating her into our business has been teaching her how to weave. We did a fashion show in Shanghai, and I said, you're not going to go and just be a pretty model. You have to learn to weave. And she designed her own line. She sells her own line. She has her own bank account, so she's learned about, banking and getting a commission for every design we sell of hers. So there's a lot of good business sense that goes into it, but learning basically that how a fabric is created was my initial goal. Images that come from the scenery in Laos, and we have, it's a Buddhist culture, and the temples have imagery. This is a tapestry piece we had done with the imagery from the temples. The decoration on top of each temple is a specific signature to that temple, and you can see that in the design in some of the textiles. Whole series, no shortage. When you've been weaving for 20 years, you start to realize just how many styles and types of patterns. Some of them, as I said, much more traditional. As the country has opened, so have we. This is the designer Valentino. He was my first project, as I mentioned earlier, working with a designer. When I worked with Dora Young, who was working with Oliver Aalto, the architect in Helsinki, and I worked with an architect in New York, and this was my first architecturally engineered piece of furniture in 1995 that we did. Again, a sofa that we did for clients in San Francisco, pillows. Because the product is one of a kind, every pillow, every design, we do a limited edition of a certain style, but you can have whatever you like. This is we have an elephant festival. There was just a nice article, I think it was in the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal. It's the 3rd year, and we spent 3 months weaving the, blanket for the winning elephant. So we weave in all sizes, including jumbo. That's a shawl, and anklets and bracelets. 2 weavers, 3 months. So quite funny. It's becoming quite the reintroduction of elephants, very much like we have done with the weaving. Traditional ceremonies, as I said, this is an animist ceremony that you see throughout, but our staff, we've had the same staff, as I mentioned. We created this middle class group of women. So we're really, it's basically an extended family. We operate that way, and our history there has been nurturing for us, also learning and nurturing the staff so that they realize that weaving, back to those sisters, that weaving is a profession. It's like being a doctor, it's like being an economist, like all of those things. And I apply that same level of professionality to what I do. But weaving is, of course, something that you do with your hands, and those hands are where an inherited tradition is passed down to the next generation.